Hi, and welcome to another episode of the podcast at Not That Different, where we spotlight young neurodivergent talent and have a conversation about the person's journey. Today, I'm delighted to spotlight Mayan, the 9-year-old budding writer with a vivid imagination, whose tales span the genres of science fiction, fantasy, and more. Mayan is an Avaz user. I'm delighted to welcome Sayonika Sengupta, Mayan's mother. Sayonika works with Azim Premji University on inclusive education and is passionate about making education meaningful for all learners. Hi, Sayo, and welcome to Not That Different. Thanks so much for doing this.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a bit about, Mayan, about your journey with Mayan, and how did you figure out that writing is something that interests him?
Yeah, so Mayan is a child with a lot of health complications. So when he was born, there were a lot of health issues, and then I'm saying this because this background is extremely important, because this is a very important part of his identity. So he's a child with cerebral palsy, and that has affected his motor skills and also speech. So initial years had been trying to figure out that, okay, what does this mean for him, what are the interventions we need to do, where do we find out the best possible means of taking care of him, because though I was knowing all of this, like, the theoretically I would know. I have worked with children earlier before Mayan, but the emotional entanglement that happens as a parent also starts, and then you are afraid, all of that. Having said that, the joy of being with the child, with the baby, who is all, like, though not speaking, but is very curious about everything, very wants to know things, is full on active wherever he could. So that joy is like unmatchable, and I'm sure all parents experience this, and we are all lucky to have that. So that had been for us for a while. And therapies become part of life very majorly, because as you learn about the condition, and okay, what do you do, what are the challenges, and then, okay, what are the therapies which would help him. Definitely speech therapy was part of it, and also, and we were also constantly learning about different, because so his health had been like going up and down from the very beginning. So there was a time when we realized he is getting seizures, which were very different from the generalized seizures, and we started learning about them. So that had affected his vision. So he was about 1.5 years old. So though he was very curious, and he loves nature. So as a baby, he used to always look more towards the trees, and like most children are, they are naturally curious and get attracted to it. So he was that, and then we suddenly realized he was not looking at it at all anymore. So that's where we were like, okay, something is not going okay, because he was not speaking. We knew that he didn't have speech, but at the same time, when his mannerisms towards some certain things which he already likes was not manifesting anymore. So then we realized that that's what the diagnosis was, that he has something called CVI, the impairment of the visual cortex. So then a new chapter began for us. So the whole thing of understanding your own child takes a different turn in terms of, because the body language communication happens, but now that a new concern was emerging. So then we did a lot of visual therapy, etc., for 1.5 years consistently, and then his vision came back. So that's when, again, coming back to using vision to communicate started. So there was a lot of picture communication was there. So that was the beginning. And he was always ready for stories. And as a family, we read a lot, we read aloud, we read otherwise, telling him stories. And looking at the picture books and all of that. So that again came back. So there was a time where it was not, actually he was not responding. Then this came back again. And we knew that he loves stories, like most children do, and pictures and all of that, like most children as they grow started. So we knew that okay, story is something which stories and music, rhythm music is something which he really enjoys and he values a lot. So that's where the beginning of story and Mayan starts. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you were asking about how when he started writing.
Yes. How did you figure out, first of all, right?
Hmm.
Because when a child talks, I think
Hmm.
it's very easy to figure out that the child is reading. It's very easy to figure out that, how much
Yeah.
the child is understanding. And obviously, it's very easy to know that, well, they're saying all of these things, maybe they would write it, right?
Yeah.
But for a child, and I'm a parent of a non-speaker myself, so I know where this is coming from. So when the child is not speaking, right, how do you figure out this is where the child's interests are?
Yeah. So as a baby, we used to play a lot of Pictionaries.
Mhm.
So story is happening as a comprehension, not really having any
Mhm.
goal to check if he's understood or not, but
Mhm.
generally as a
Yeah.
telling stories, and then there are either certain small those toys, animal toys and all
Mhm.
that, or the pictures. So what could have happened? And he would point that okay, this is happening, and he's like, what about 2 years old? 3 years old, 3.5, that's the age I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So he would always point and communicate, and very, that the child is very present,
You can, and yeah,
yeah,
they are responsive in their own way. You don't have
yeah,
to speak to respond.
yeah.
You
So
respond
that
with your body, you
spark
can
in the
respond.
eye,
Yeah.
but then also pointing and
Gestures,
showing,
yes.
what would match, what could have happened. So
Mhm.
that was the beginning of, we knew that okay, he's very much active in terms of language. And in our family, we are a multilingual family. So I'm a Bengali, my partner is a Malayali.
Mhm.
I also speak native Hindi because I come from North. He also speaks, my partner also speaks very fluent Tamil
Mhm.
because he grew up there. We met in Andhra. We spent some time in Andhra. Now we are in Karnataka. So we are really multilingual. So in the beginning, as part of speech, the speech and language therapy and all, it was told that, do only one language because that
Mhm.
would be easy.
Yeah.
I come from an education background, like early education background. So for me, even then I got derailed
Mhm.
thinking that, oh yeah, maybe one language is important.
Mhm.
Then my natural sense came back, like I that no, it's multilinguality which is
Yes.
going to actually enrich the child. so
Absolutely.
so
Yes. Yes.
first few months we ended up like telling everybody only speak in English, and then I was like, no. So it took that initial fear, and then you settle down, and then you're like, no, multilinguality is what is required. So we realized that he could understand. Currently he understands Malayalam, Hindi, Bangla, English, and right now Kannada
Mhm.
very fluently.
Yes.
And as a baby, he could easily transition between, like he's responding, body
Obviously.
mannerisms
Yes.
and all.
Yes. He understands and he
Responding,
responds. Yeah.
yeah. So within one setup, so there is some Malayalam happening, some Bangla happening, some Hindi happening, and English happening. These are constant four languages that he was navigating very
Very
easily,
easy.
like any child who is growing up in a multilingual setup. So he was showing that, and he was showing interest in all these languages. So like wanting, so I would ask him that, okay, what language you want to now listen to, like as a story. So I would write, in fact, so he knew the print of it.
Mhm.
So then he would show, this is what I want. So, and then we would have a
Story in
story
that
in that language.
language.
So it was mostly through pointing.
Mhm.
At the same time, we were doing his speech therapy, all of that was going on. I realized that he was getting very frustrated,
Yes.
because for him, he was around say 3.5 at that time. So he used to press his throat here,
Mhm.
thinking, because the language is here happening, thinking it's all stuck here.
And
So
it's not coming out.
it's
Yeah.
not coming out. So he would do this, he like really press himself. Or he would, if we are saying the word, he would take his hand and put it in my mouth and put it in his mouth.
Mhm.
Almost like I'm taking the word from you and putting it in my mouth. As a child, he's trying to figure
He's
out where
trying whatever he
where is
can.
the word
Yeah.
not coming. I know the word, I know the meaning, I want to say it, but it's not coming out.
Coming out of my mouth. Yeah.
Yes. So no speech therapy was happening and all, and he could speak actually a few words here and there, quite meaningfully. Unfortunately, he has lost them now because of multiple seizures and the health issues and heavy medication on seizures and all. So he doesn't have those words anymore. Very few, like that, like almost gone. So that's when I also realized that, okay, this whole speech focus is frustrating him. It's not working. It's not helping him. And by then they had already introduced this whole picture communication and all that. So, and he was very easily he was doing that. So we knew that, okay, communication is happening. I understood, okay, communication is happening. He has a very good language grip, not just receptive, even communicative language is there. It's just that if I get stuck with only speech, then we
It's
are
based on
ending
the
up,
frustration.
we are ending up really pushing him towards frustration. So and that's also the time around which the COVID thing happened and all. So I stopped speech therapy. So I was like, okay, now on the focus is not speech, focus is on language and communication. So the whole thing changed. So when we were continuously anyway working on like a lot of story work, a lot of Pictionaries happening, story creations were happening. I used to write down the stories as we would play. He would add through either adding an animal to the story or any input to the story, either a physical one, because we used to have a lot of toys and all of that, or pictures he would add. So a story would get created between him and I. So, and I used to write those stories down, and then I would read it out to him. He would be very happy because it's our story.
Yes.
So that's where the beginning of story creation started. Then during that time, I also started understanding about AAC, like the
Alternative and augmentative.
augmentative communications. So what is it about? What is it basically, and how to go about it, and all of that. So I started learning about it. I did a course and all that to be able to help him the best and also help us the best, like as parents also. So so the whole journey turned more to focusing towards communication and language building rather than speech. So so that's where it turned. It was very beautiful for us because we were discovering it for ourselves. Good. I mean, COVID was unfortunate, but somewhere it also
came out for a lot of people.
It helped us to also take certain things in our hands, actually, honestly, because we were not able to access a lot of therapies. We had to take it up in our hand and make it our own, really understanding it, learning about it, doing the trainings ourselves, and a lot of online things opened up. So so then
that helped a lot of children, actually. I think more than children, I think it helped parents, to sort of understand what should I do with this child, right? If you have a therapy center to go to, you have a school to go to, the reliance, as much, I think as a parent, that you also have to put in your efforts. I think you have a very structured day, right? School after school therapy, and by the time the child comes home, the child's half dead and exhausted, obviously not willing to do anything much. But this really helped. It
really helped us, and thankfully we had been very lucky from the very beginning, from the kind of people around us, like his school. So that time it was online. So though they were like little kindergarten kids, but because it became online, though it was 1.5 hours in a day, we were still, so those pictures, those communication, language building, everything was, it's somehow leveled, I think. It was a leveler that for us, it became a leveler because then everybody is accessing online. Everybody is taking help from the parent. It's not just I who need my parent. Everyone is requiring the parent support, and everybody is doing something similar. Something is happening online. So again, that period was a lot of language work was going on. I wouldn't say consciously, but that was what got created very organically. We were enjoying a lot during that time. So we used to call certain things as our beautiful world around us, something we named. And then we used to pick up something, some topic, and we used to learn about it.
Yeah.
So either read about it or watch video or create something, some kachara, something. We are doing something. So that was very hands-on, and
Yeah.
that part. But what happened was, we were I had to guess what he's saying, and
Yes.
I had to keep those many words as
Mm.
options for him. Then he would point at the word, which was, again, he was very dependent on me, because
Yes.
I'm guessing, maybe as a mother I'm doing a great job, but maybe not. Maybe
Maybe
not.
not. Exactly. The
Maybe
maybe
not
not
enough.
is actually exists. And a lot
Yeah,
of parents have to
yeah,
acknowledge
maybe
that the
not
maybe not
enough.
exists.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I am not able to think the kind of word he would probably thinking in his mind,
Yeah.
he doesn't have that option.
Yes.
So for me, when I was starting this ABCD, I started not as A to Z. It was a QWERTY.
Mm.
So I thought that whichever device it is, be it phone, be it laptop, be it tab, whatever it is, a keyboard
It's a
set.
QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he knew QWERTY. So, so even
But
now
the
when he
other
said,
front of device, right? I mean, COVID did that. Online sessions, they're seeing only QWERTY, na? Where is
yeah,
ABC? They're sitting in
yeah.
front of a device.
So I didn't even introduce ABCD as a series of it. It was all QWERTY. So he used to touch the QWERTY keyboard,
Mm.
which word he wants to frame,
Yes.
and therefore make it into words. So then his phonetic understanding is very good. So he could spell. He could spell
Hmm.
phonetically. He could. So we used to do even dictionaries. So not dictionary, dictations. I would give him word, and he'd actually look.
Type.
Uh,
Yeah.
Not even typing. He hadn't learned typing. He was younger. He was about 4. So 4.5. He hasn't learned typing at all. He's just pointing at those letters there. So, and we are doing dictionary dictations like that. So we are learning words. We are doing phonetics. We are doing everything. Just that the sound he is not producing.
Yes.
So, but I was the sound, and he was doing the symbol.
Yeah.
So he was attaching the sound that I was producing with the symbol that is out there as a alphabet. So we have been doing that, and then very one day I was working on my laptop, and he was like, he just came towards me, and he's like, I want to type. He took my laptop, and I was like, okay, type. So he just started doing something, and the body language was very like, I can type. And he was about 4.5, like that. 4.5, yeah, not even 5. So then I looked and was like, okay, maybe he's ready.
Mm.
We don't know. So
We
I
don't know.
introduced, yeah. So we had already taken ours. So the
Mm.
initial, we had the lifetime subscription and all of that, and then he would initially do the pictures,
Yes.
and he would feel very happy. The first time, I still have the video where my name is Mayan came,
Mm.
and he touched that, and he was so happy. So every time I was asking him, like, what is your name, I would type, and he would point
That.
at, my
Yeah.
name is Mayan. And the joy, the it was like amazing joy.
Finally, I'm heard.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a voice. It's my voice. So I still have that video, because we used to do it, and we used to do it every day. So then we started adding more information that, okay,
Yeah.
my name is Mayan, I live here, I am so
And
many
so
years
yes.
old. Yeah, yeah. So the basic one, and he would be very happy. Then uh, we by then he had started recognizing the letters and all. So now the QWERTY on the tab for Avaz also we were introducing, because
QWERTY.
now,
Yeah.
by then he had learned how to frame small words.
Mm.
So so basically, like any other child, how they move from alphabet recognition to be able to, the
Blend and form words,
blend
and
and
then
form
from
words,
words to
the
phrases.
morphology
Yeah.
comes, and then the syntax comes, all of that. But he was also following the same thing, just that he was not writing. We
You.
transitioned
Yeah.
him to type. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was doing that. And then that really made us feel that, okay, now he's able to communicate. By
Yes.
then, even, um, you know, what can I say? Original thought or thought initiation and expression we hadn't experienced it. It was still basic, like
I
what I
ask
mean.
you a question, you give me an answer
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
We were still at that. Now, when he was around, again, almost 6-ish, uh, that's when, again, on my laptop, he said he typed story. So I said, do you want to write a story? He said yes. So his first story came, um, a kangaroo named Pike, which
Okay.
is pink in color
Hmm.
and likes to eat upma and chips. So,
Lovely.
yeah. So that was his first character that he had created. So my thing is that okay, so all of this must be there happening in the head
Great. Yeah.
now, and then the floodgates opened.
Yes.
Da, 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 da. So many stories came, and Pike emerged. Pike was doing so many things, and Pike lived in Australia, in the grasslands of Australia, and then Pike plays what lays down in the on the grass with his mother, looking
Mm.
at the stars. I'm just remembering all this. So he would write all this.
Yeah. Hmm.
And initially, we used to practice with a lot of spelling errors and all that. And then he learned because then I would like, okay, how do you review your work? So
Hmm.
gradually it started. And then for us, we realized that, okay, now we know him as
Yes.
a person. So
Yes.
far, it was more like a need. What do you need? Do you want
Yes.
this? Don't want this. This is my question. You answer. Now it was a person whom we were meeting, and that was about at 6+ age. 6 years and few months, and that's when we realized, okay, so this is the child that we are raising, who has this kind of thoughts, and who has. So that was a very big milestone for us as a family, huge milestone for us, um, because we started realizing how he thinks, what he feels,
Hmm.
how he looks at the world around him, because all his stories would have a lot of kindness, lot of compassion, lot of friends.
Hmm.
Like animals are also talking like any other child does
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
but the flowing theme was always towards friendship and compassion and
Yeah.
joy. So there would be an introduction, and there would be something would have happened, and then it would get solved,
Thought.
and
Yeah.
somebody is helping somebody. So we
Hmm.
also started realizing this is how he is, as a person he is. Then we could also see through his stories how he expresses emotions. So because then there was a period of time where he had to be isolated because he was on steroid medication for they were trying steroids for the seizure control. So
Hmm.
around 2.5 months he was completely quarantined.
Hmm.
So we were like stuck. Him and I, we were in the house. We were
Literally
not supposed
stuck.
to
Yeah.
meet anybody. We
Hmm.
had told everybody, don't come to our house. For 2 3 months, forget about us. So we would go for walk wearing mask, and then all of us are wearing mask, and then it was a uh, uh, very different kind of a setup we were. And he started writing stories where his characters would have loneliness.
Yeah.
Uh, so and so character, it can be a salamander. So there has been a salamander, there had been one frog, there had been one caterpillar. So all these characters were looking for friends. So because they were alone, and we were like, acha, so this is so at least he now had a
Way of
way of
expressing.
expressing, and we could know that okay, this is what is happening with him. Otherwise, one, it would just stay with him. Two, we would not know.
Yes.
I'm sure there is much more than that we know in him, about him, but at least some glimpse we are getting that.
Absolutely. And I think for them
Um,
also it's expression is catharsis, right?
yes,
If they hold
yes,
it back, it's
yeah,
going to be even worse.
of course, yeah. So, and a child who is very sensitive also and wants to do many things and not able to do,
Mm.
uh, is very conscious of what's going on in my life, not even having the full control over it, because child not understanding the entire details, but also trying to, but is feeling certain things. There was also a time when he was hospitalized,
Mm.
where he was not given water for a few days, so there were fluid and all. So he wrote a story. He said, I want to write a story, and he wrote a story about some well which is far across the mountains, and the bees and the birds have put it has sweet water because the bees and the birds have put honey in it. something like this. And I will go there and drink that something. So again, this whole wanting to drink water, that
Mm,
came out like that. So yeah, so we were seeing that. Then
mm.
when his quarantine ended and he was back to school, because the steroid didn't really work much, so it was a failed
It
attempt.
trial, yeah.
It didn't work. So then when he went back to school and all that, then the stories changed.
Hmm.
Then now the friends are going for some adventure. So, friends are doing something, some collaborative something is happening. So as he moves, so the pattern now is he reads a lot, but he
Hmm.
doesn't read fiction.
Hmm.
He sleeps off. You start up and he'll be like, yes, he won't finish it. But when he gets up, he
Hmm.
comes up with something similar theme of, uh,
Whatever he's heard before falling asleep.
yeah. I mean, I tried introducing, being a Bengali, I tried introducing some like Feluda detective
Mhm.
character. First 5 minutes he watched and he just slept.
Yeah.
Woke up, woke up with lemon grank, which is a detective. And I
Oh,
was like, you didn't even see it. And
yeah.
he already had a detective character, which a series of 6, 7 stories has come, and the name is Lemon Grank. And so, so, so as he is expressing, we are also seeing him as he's emerging as a person, how he takes certain things very seriously. He really likes to know. So his entertainment is he wants to know everything. So everything. I mean, doesn't matter. It is too complex. Doesn't matter if it is. So now, and he's what it has done to us is also, we as a family we can chit chat
Yes.
about a lot of things, about religion, about complex things like same-sex marriage, about uh, and he has an opinion, and he tries, what is this, what does this mean, who said this, why did this one said this, can you
Say this.
explain?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has an opinion. So it's really nice that we are now, as a full family, we are engaging in these conversations thanks to AAC,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
thanks to AAC. Because if that hadn't been, he
Hmm.
would have still been a person learning, but we would have missed this
Yeah.
interaction.
It's kind of like a one-way thing, right? They are learning. You don't know how much they are learning. They have no expression. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, as your child grows up, there is going to be more in their minds besides expressing their needs.
yeah,
And when they don't have a way to express,
yeah,
what is in their minds,
yeah,
and I think this happens with a lot of autistic children,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
For them, speech, it being a communication disorder, speech
Hmm,
and communication, even ones who have some amount of speech, may not
hmm.
necessarily be able to communicate convincingly with.
There's a language deficit. Yeah,
Yes. So,
hmm.
but they want to say a lot of things.
Yeah,
It's not happening. The frustration builds, and well, it leads to other
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Again, because physically also, they're quite strong. So it leads to other things. But
Mhm.
yes, I think, it sort of brings me to the point, right? There's so many myths associated with AAC. Introduce AAC to a child, the child's not going to try and talk, and, hundreds of things, right? I think the myth goes from one, I don't know, extreme to the other extreme.
Hmm, hmm.
Introduce AAC, your child will become a poet. I mean, I've heard some very funny things. Or,
Yeah,
introduce AAC, your child is never going to talk. Your child
yeah.
is not talking, though she understands everything. And this, I've actually heard it from my daughter when she was 6, right? Your daughter is very intelligent. She understands everything, but she's not talking, because she doesn't even want to make an attempt to talk. So I think, the myths are so much
A
surrounding it,
lot, a lot. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But it is,
And
I think,
out of fear, parents end up believing everything. So
exactly.
for us as well, there was a time where we were, again, the early years, when we were still trying to figure out, okay, what is the cerebral palsy going, how is it going to impact him, what do we need to understand, as as this particular case, because each case is different, and as the child grows, things move, and it's a severe case, and like he's GMFC 5, so which is a very physically very very dependent.
Physically can be,
Yeah,
yeah.
very very dependent, totally dependent, in fact. um and the way he is, so then there was a sudden time we realized that no, we are overdoing it, we are
Mm,
over asking things, we are
mm,
over, like, our need to understand is genuine, but asking everybody is not okay, because
yes.
you are hearing a lot of stuff which is, uh, you take a step back and you're like, that's stupid, that's silly, that's not,
Yeah,
where's the common sense?
exactly.
So then it works. Like the settling in takes a little time, and then you just step back and you're like, okay, no, no, this is not what is making sense. So then you take it forward, and then you also choose. So like, when I say that I stopped with speech therapy, I will not say that don't go on with speech therapy at all. That's not what I mean. What I mean is it needs to have, take it
Yes,
course, but parallelly the child should have a communication mechanism which
yes.
will actually enhance, because language is here, speech is
Mm.
here, so these are
Yes,
two different things.
yes.
So completely two different faculties of
Very,
the brain.
very,
So
yes.
if the child, if speech therapy is going to help, so for us, my focus turned towards more on the swallowing,
Mm.
because I knew I could see that, okay, if the his frustration and language, because he settled down after that. I know he settled down. Right now, he proudly talks about his AAC. Like, I have a very smart tab and I use it for communication. In fact, few days ago, he offered somebody that my parents will give you one time.
Very nice.
I was like, really? So very, very happy he went and typed that and said that. So he's very proud of his devices and all that. And now that he's in a age, so he's cognitively high functioning,
Mm.
very high functioning, in fact, like quite ahead of his
Mm.
biological age. So again, his biological age, his physiological capabilities based on the age and his cognitive age do not match. Like, there's no match. So, and it's so much different that of course it frustrates him. It becomes difficult for us to handle, because his brain is running and he's not able to type fast and he's getting tired and then he cries. So he doesn't know what to do. So but then we are like, okay,
Mm.
hold on, write it later, think right now, then we'll do it later, all that. So even that struggle continues, that he'll be like, why am I not able to type fast? In fact, he wants the tab to type fast as he thinks.
Yeah.
So now that cannot happen unless you type it, right? So,
Yes.
but his body is not ready. His body is not able to support him that way. So all of these complications are there, but he is very much active in the world around him. So in
Yes.
the school, he's in grade 4 now, and he's one fellow who reads up a lot. A few days ago, he was into economics for some days. Reading about economic different concepts, and this question, that question, what is this, what is that, all that was going on. Some days ago, he was into something. What was he into? About Netherlands. He did one full research on Netherlands. So and then he's like, I'll go to Netherlands. I'm like, okay, take me along. So okay. So he gets into something and he's on his own way. So what it has done is, what I think is, one is communication, definitely. Two is definitely the frustration levels obviously gets handled way better. One settles down. I think equally important is the confidence.
Yes.
So he's a very confident person. Like, he has his wishes. He wants to ride a bicycle, which
It's
won't
not
happen.
going to happen.
It's not going to be possible. He wants to run like his friends do. He wants to sing like his friends sing. He says, I sing in my mind, but I also want to sing aloud.
Yeah.
Because he knows all the lyrics. So but at the same time, he's very confident that he's very good in studies. He knows that. He's like, "Ah, I know it." So that also he shows. He's very confident that he writes very well.
Mm.
He's confident that he's able to be he is he's able to understand things around him, the world,
Yes.
way more than his peers. So he knows that he's very conscientious in that way, that okay, these are the things that I can't do, these are the things I do,
I
and I do
can
very
do.
well,
Yes.
and I do very well.
Yes.
So if AAC, the communication channel, hadn't been there, forget about the other losses that as parents and people around him would have. Like, we wouldn't know him as we know him now. his confidence wouldn't have been there. That, I'm
Absolutely.
equally part of the world. So like
Yes.
that wouldn't have happened. So,
Yes.
and that gives him the fuel to get up every day in the morning and look forward to something that is
Absolutely.
happening, and I can contribute. So I
Yes.
think all of us, every child, everybody,
Mhm.
need to have that feeling that I matter and
Yes.
I contribute.
I belong here. I
Yes,
contribute.
I
I
can't.
matter.
And it is very, and it's an important contribution.
Absolutely.
It's valuable. So when these are options that, so like assistive devices, AAC is an assistive device, does that.
Yes.
So that because the way his mind is, it would have been this way as well, but we wouldn't know. We wouldn't
Yes.
have been able to explore further. He wouldn't have been able to be where he is in terms of that. Yes, I matter.
Yes.
So very off late, he's figuring this out that I am a person with disability.
Yes.
This is very recent now that he attend not he I was attending something on World Disability Day, and he was like, I also want to know. So he was sitting sneakily next to me, and then he was like, then he looked at me and said, so I am a person with disability? I said, yes. Then he's like, okay. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's a good thing. I said, yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's
It's
okay.
it's just another thing, like
Yeah.
it's part of as each one of us is. So
Yes.
then we have talked about why he uses a wheelchair, why he cannot run. So he explains it to others now very happily. That, when I was a very small child, I fell sick. So very kind doctor helped me. All that he writes. So, so now I have a very smart wheelchair. So what happens is, as he's growing, his own, the image of the self is
Yes.
extremely important. So
Yes.
and it gets shaped not just by how we think as what we are, but also how what the world is doing to us.
Perceiving us as,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes. And again, am I feeling satisfied with what I'm doing? So again, when he writes a story which is really cool, or when he does some complex math in grade one, he discovered minus numbers by himself. I think so. Then something zero minus what, less than zero is minus, something like that he figured out in grade one. And then we introduced, okay, we were like, okay, isn't it too early? So we're like, acha, theek hai, karo jo mane. So it's like, okay, you do what you want to do. So those things contribute in, and that would be true for all children, as
Yes.
what they see for themselves, as what am I.
Yes.
So now he's figuring that out, that okay, I am a person with disability, I use these assistive
Devices.
devices, and they're quite smart, they're quite cool. I'll show it to you how they work, and if you want, my mother will give you a no.
No. इतना भी पैसा नहीं है.
Like he just did this to me, like I was like, oh, really. So this is how he is right now, so which is very nice, like as a overall package, as a person that he's emerging, so that he's also, it's also important to be okay,
Yes.
to be different, okay
Yes.
um not be able to do certain things which others are doing easily. And
Effortless.
yeah,
Yes.
it's okay to be but also recognizing these are my strengths.
Yes.
So
I
that's
think
what
the
I think true
strength
for all.
help absolutely. I think this, understanding that I can do some things and I'm good at some things
Mhm.
helps them balance out.
Exactly.
I mean, they all have the organic understanding that they are different, right?
Yeah,
As
right.
parents, we have to have that conversation with them. We
Yeah.
do at different points of time, and we are comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Not oftentimes, sadly, not when they, need to hear it, but when we are comfortable is when we speak about it. But I think, if they realize they are good at something, and sort of we build on their strengths, I think for them to take the fact that they are different and some things are a challenge becomes easier. It's very
Right.
easy for us to keep telling them it's okay to be different and all of that.
Right. Yeah.
But that feeling, I think that self-confidence to set in, it's
Mhm.
very important to sort of build on the strengths.
Right. Yeah. So that's where we also know that okay, these are his strengths.
Mm.
There is no performance pressure. We don't care, actually, honestly. So sometimes we even get asked that, do you want him to, go jump grades and, do his
Mm.
10th? Like, no hurry.
What's
There's
the
no
hurry?
hurry. And there's nowhere we have to reach some marathon. We don't need to. He enjoys to learn. And there's
Yes.
a lot around in this world, thankfully, to learn. So
Yes.
let him just enjoy. So
Yes.
for me, and thankfully, the school is also,
Mm.
quite happily accommodating this. Like sitting in the grade 4 class, he does grade 7
Mm.
English. So his teacher gives him worksheets, like you do, because
Do.
otherwise he doesn't like it. Like, why are you doing the same thing over and over again? So he cries, like, he'll start. He's like, why so slow? Go
Mm.
fast. No, why are you doing the same thing? Because his mind is racing. So that adaptation, that accommodation, that
Mm.
like the differentiation that is happening for him, this is what the school is providing him. So they'll just create some stuff and put it on the drive. He is supposed to open it, look at it, and start doing.
Good.
Don't make noise. So sometimes he'll do his own 7th grade thing, and in once in a while also answer what is happening in the class, doing both. So so this I think this is going well,
Good.
where he's
That's
able
very,
to
yes.
feel, and he's very proud of it, that, I'm doing something higher. And his friends will be like, oh, mine is doing something which is higher grade. Oh, but why are you in grade 4? Not only, but his friends are here. Oh, that's true. Okay. So this whole dynamics happen where they are like, okay, Mayan is a scholar of the class, is what they say, his friends. They also know that when he goes out in the space, say PE or like physical education or sports, they know he can't run, so they take him around. They ensure that he's also passing some balls once in a while, all that. So something is happening there. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very nice, because oftentimes people think inclusion is rocket science, right?
Mm.
And I think even for children where the accommodation needs are a little much lesser, the
Mm.
first, reaction we get from the classroom teacher is, I'm not trained to work with this child.
Yeah.
Which is also, the reason why, part of the reason why, we thought about creating Vani,
Mm.
where we said that if the child is doing this in your class, right? Two things. One, we do not expect you to be a special educator and remediate the lack of skills, right?
Mm.
That's an
Mm.
understanding that needs to be given to the classroom teacher.
Right.
And two, you're in trained, fine. Your child is doing this in the class. Now, how do you support that child? So,
Right.
a very scenario-based thing.
Right.
So we
Right.
should just put it out there because I think inclusion is a mindset, right? And as
It
somebody
is
who's
a
been,
mindset, it's a perspective, actually. So even like we have been, like I said, we have been very fortunate that we, all the schools and wherever he was, it was very inclusive. Having said that, with the caveat that they wanted me to be there.
yes.
So, so in the first school, all children very loving kids, and they would be like, "Mine is ours." I was called Mayanamma, so I had no other name. So, after the lockdown ended, some 2 months they were going to the school. So I used to take him to the school, and it was a 2-storied building, no lift,
Oh
nothing.
my God.
I used to carry him. So he was younger, so I could manage.
It
Now
was manageable at that time.
so he was like around 3.5, 4 and a half, something
Mhm.
like that. So it was easy that time. But very clearly they had said, look, we don't know what to do. Will you be around? I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I'll be around. So I converted my work schedules in a way where in the morning schedule they have the school, I would be with them, with him, and afternoon onwards I would do my work. So, but my presence was important. What it did was eventually they realized that no, it's not tough.
Yes.
Now also, each disability or neurodiversity or impairment is different. Now
Yes.
the challenges would be different. Now the even within the same diagnosis, the variations are
Yeah,
different.
it's a spectrum. All the diagnoses are spectrums. So,
So that is there. I understand that, but at least for in his case, what it changed the it kind of opened a lot of possibilities for the individual teachers. So they
yes.
said, and this is what they said to me later, that I learned something new, that I can also teach a child or work with a child who's non-verbal, who is expressing differently, who is not doing things like other children are doing, but is learning. I
Yes.
can teach and I can work. It's a
Yes.
personal learning for me. This is what I've heard. So, which I was very happy. So,
Yes.
wherever they go as teachers later, maybe they'll be open.
Exactly.
More
No,
open,
that's not
more
what happens,
confident.
right? You do it once and
Yeah,
then you
they're
realize,
more
you know, I,
confident.
yeah, I kind of like to think that 70% of the humanity is good, which means that, it's just a lack of exposure, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I think, a fear associated with all those fancy terms that comes with a
yeah,
diagnosis.
yeah.
And I think if there is medical condition, then the fear becomes higher. If the
Hi.
child has a seizure in the class, I don't know what to do.
What to do?
Right?
Yeah,
What if I do something wrong and something happens to the
yeah,
child?
yeah.
Oftentimes it comes from that space.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think when
it's
we
a genuine fear. I agree with the fear because they mean to do well.
yes,
But thing is, see, I would say like, and I'm saying this with the full responsibility because I also work in the university on inclusion, where I we say that, see, we cannot say that we will one day be full ready and then we will open the gates. It
yes,
doesn't work like that. And no
yes,
disability comes with a manual. you know,
exactly.
that you
No
do
human
this,
being comes
then
with a
this happens.
manual.
Yeah. So there's no manual. We learn. Yes,
Yes,
there will be certain situations where we'll be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Can I seek help?
yes,
I'm not very sure, but can I try?
yes.
And enroll the parents, know from the parents what works
Seek
best.
support, yes.
Yeah, what has worked before, what would work.
Mm.
Basically upgrade oneself to be able
Yes,
to work with individuals who are neurologically different. So like
yes,
at the university we are a inclusive university, and we do have students with neurodiversity, with impairments leading to disabilities. We have, and we work with them. So it's not that we are an expert in everything, no, not at all. But unless we are ready to be
yes.
inclusive, on paper we cannot be inclusive. It's a practice. It's
It's a
not a,
mindset, right? It's a
it has
mindset.
to be in practice, no?
Yes,
If it is not practice, then it is actually not happening.
yes,
So and I'm saying this with full responsibility that it has to be attempted.
yes.
Like we have to go a little extra mile out of our comfort zone to be able to explore that. Okay, can I do it?
Do this, yes.
Maybe there will be certain unpleasant experiences
Obviously.
that happens with our own child, that happens with the children we work with, the young adults we work. It happens, but that is true for all human beings, right?
Everybody has a learning curve, right?
Yeah,
Even the
and
teacher is a,
even
actually
neurotypicals
have
may
a learning curve.
do
Yeah.
something which is unpleasant,
Yes.
which can get them into trouble, can get other children into trouble. All
Mhm.
that happens. So, but then the flexibility part is important. That
Yes.
am I ready to do it?
Yes.
And fear exists, but should we just let fear overtake us?
Yes.
That's the whole thing. So, like he does get seizures. Even now, he gets seizures. But should we just lock him up in the house? No,
No.
because seizures, even then seizures will come. He
Exactly.
loves to learn, he loves to go to school, he loves to be with friends, and they have some funny games that they do which we cannot understand. And whatever they do, it is a world.
Absolutely.
And it is equally important that whatever our lifespan is, it has to be fulfilling, no? It needs to
Absolutely.
be joyful. It needs
Yes.
to be that, okay, I'm glad that I lived so
And
many
it's a
years.
basic right for every child, I think, to go to a school and to learn, right?
Yeah,
Simple. That's all.
yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So even in this school as well, initially they were like, okay, how do we do? What do we do? All that happened. So and him, what has happened is, and I'm glad that this has happened because he's GMFC 5, which is a
Mm.
very severe
Yeah.
situation. Plus, there are multiple challenges, like there's high seizures, there is multiple disability, all of that is there. Yet the child can do so many things,
Yes.
contribute and do that. It has at least four families with children with
Mhm.
similar conditions have, they're like, oh, maybe we
We
need to
can
do
also try
something
this.
differently. Yeah.
Yes.
And it has happened. Four.
Yes.
So which I'm very glad that these four have happened. Right. So
Yes.
they then started looking towards AAC. They
Mm.
started looking towards, special education. They started
Mhm.
looking towards actually communicating with the child. We different learn how to communicate with your own
Yes.
child, instead of trying to do a top-down behavior management. Can you work with the child in a collaborative manner?
Exactly. And this
With
is very true for autism, right? Behavior management. You are
yeah,
a behavior problem. So
yeah,
I will tell you what to do. I mean,
yeah,
try that with a neurotypical child,
right.
and they're not going to listen to you. So why do you think
No,
these children are different?
obviously.
Yeah.
So when we have seen this, and then for me it's like that. Okay, the this again becomes part of the awareness. So
Yes.
I consider Mayan as not just he's doing well, growing well, and all of that, but also the whatever he does, there's a contribution in spreading awareness.
Yes.
Like when we travel quite a bit we travel. So and he is very proud that his wheelchair is a smart wheelchair which can go up to the onto the hills as well. So, so
Very nice. No, even I can't climb up the hills beyond a certain point.
so it can go to the hills, and he's like, oh, see all that. So again, there too, because of lack of awareness, lack of visibility, specifically with,
Lack
with
of
visibility,
visibility.
lack of visibility, it adds to the lack of awareness. So what it does is then people are not knowing what to
Yes.
do, how to do, or getting very surprised that, oh,
Yes.
what is happening here.
Yes.
And
When
that
he travel, he's come so far.
and then
You've
that
got
puts
to the
the person,
plane.
that puts the person lot of discomfort. Na?
Yeah.
So like we had noticed that he was closing his eyes off.
Mm.
He will be in the public space, and there will be a lot of stares and glares and very unpleasant comments, and over the top crying would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
All that, coming to us and crying, really, why are you crying? So
You are going to see him and you're going to go, maybe living this life. We are not crying. What's your problem?
and you're like, why are you crying? And mine knew that only standard response that my mother, my father will have, and he'll just look at us. Like, now you tell your dialogue. So, and he has done this to me, like,
Hmm.
so, but it makes me very uncomfortable. It makes us uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So, and we are not always ready कि चलो अभी तुमको सिखाते हैं. We are not always in that mode.
Definitely not. I mean, you're going out for a break, a vacation. You're not going
Yeah.
out there to
So
just,
sometimes we do,
educate them.
sometimes we are like, "Arey," all that. So then what I realize is I need to prepare him.
Yes.
So we had a talk. So after seeing it for some time, I realized he's closing his eyes because he doesn't want to see
He
people
wants to
looking
shut
at him.
it
He
out
doesn't want
completely
to see
mentally.
people looking at him. And then when we had that conversation, he expressed that he doesn't like it when people look at him.
That way. Obviously.
And this is what a 6-year-old is 7-year-old is telling me. So a 7-year-old saying this is saying because he's quite mature,
Yes.
and he's able to express, he has the language, he has the agency to express that, look, this is what is bothering me, I don't like it, what can I do? So then we had a very good talk. That's when I explained his disability, and then I explained that, look, people don't know.
Hmm.
So for me it was like he needs to be ready because I cannot change the world. I
Yes.
need to prepare him for the world. So it was more like, they don't know that someone can travel with a wheelchair. They
Yes.
haven't seen. They haven't seen someone who can communicate with a tab so well. So they haven't seen that. Then he was like, I will tell. Then tick the light bulb lit, and like, I will tell them. Like, yeah, we should tell them. So then I realized since then he doesn't shut off like that. Sometimes I remind him
Very
that, okay, people are
somehow very organically they have to learn to advocate for themselves, and that will not come unless they are comfortable in their skin. So
yeah.
yeah.
And also and he's a child, no, ultimately he's a child, right? So for him it's
Yes.
like, why are people looking at me? Oh, they're looking at me because they don't know my wheelchair is so
Hmm.
smart. Oh, then it's fine, it's not about me, it's
The
about
women's
they
work.
don't know. So
Yeah.
they need to see my smart
Hmm.
wheelchair. So then I would remind him, like, 7-year-old, now how I cannot explain too
Chalega.
many
7-year-old.
concepts.
Yeah, will listen.
Yeah. So I can put the world also, the world is so mean. I cannot tell him that.
Tell a 7-year-old that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it will only make him sad that, okay, the
Yeah.
world is being mean. So, because the world is actually not totally mean. No, it's mix of
Yes.
both. So
A
I
lot
need
of
to,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. So, So sometimes I whisper in his ears saying that, they don't know. So
Mm,
that's why they're looking at you. So it's okay,
mm.
So let them see how the wheelchair is, going to the hills as well. Then he'll open his eyes again and then looking around. And I'm like, okay. So, so these are things which are constantly happening, and one has to be picking up these cues all the time. I may be missing a lot many cues. I'm sure I'm missing
You ought
because
to.
he is way more than I think I know him,
Mhm.
uh, and that's true for anybody and everybody.
Yes.
So, but
More so for children who are different in some ways, because we tend
yeah,
to
yeah,
go with
and who have
very.
complex thoughts as well. Can think more, can pick up vibes, can pick up cues more.
See, that is the
Uh,
whole problem, right? We are not willing to even accept that, I don't know, intelligence is supposed to have a look, right?
yeah,
That is what
yeah,
we live with. That's a
right, right,
preconceived notion that we live with.
right,
So
right.
when it doesn't fit our notion, we are not willing to accept that it's possible. So,
Right. Yeah. So and that's true across. So how do we navigate that? So this is something which we are constantly learning. We are constantly navigating, and there's a long way to go, I'm sure. But yeah, and then there are these other challenges. So he is somebody. He had a lot of pneumonias last year. Even like between December to March, he had three pneumonias, and he was hospitalized all the three times, and each one was bad. So this fellow sitting in the hospital writing emails to his teachers and saying, "What did you teach?" I'm sick. I'm in the hospital. What did you teach? I'm getting bored. The teacher is like, "Arey, you rest. It's okay." But he's getting bored. Then he says, "Okay, let me research about pneumonia." So he actually researched about pneumonia, read about pneumonia, and then he was like, "Okay. Now I know what people are talking around."
so I better rest.
Yeah, no, no. He just needs to know that okay, these guys, all these doctors as a team, they come to me and they say certain things.
I know.
So I am not understanding. I need to understand. No.
Yes.
So when he asked me, I have this. I said, yeah, you had this. Now you are recovering. Yeah, okay. So they are doing chest physio. Okay, yeah. Then he was very happy. Whatever they are doing is right.
See, that's why we love Google Baba.
Oh, everything. Like he's supposed to use a BiPAP machine in the night, okay, for his breathing.
Hmm.
Initially, he was like, no, obviously, who wants a mask on
Yeah.
in the nose? So he did a research. He read about it. How does it work? What does it do? Etc. Etc. Then he was like, I think it will help me to breathe. I was like, yeah,
Fine.
that's
Wow.
true. That's true. Then he allowed. So for him, nothing works top down. Like it's not that because I'm saying you do it. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't agree. So there are
Yes.
many things he tells me I don't agree. I think something, whatever he thinks. And I'm like, how can I come back again? They don't think it. I need to come up with something. So like that. So he is someone who is very logical also. Has to be logic. It has to be reasonable. It has to be logical. It has to make sense to him. And then he'll like, okay. Then he'll help you. Then he'll help you. Otherwise, I don't agree. Sorry. ये करो जो करना है. It's quite funny that way. And it makes it more cute because he's typing, and because he types, the words and the sentences he uses is very adult like. So as if he knows everything, it's not like a unsure 9-year-old. It's almost like a I know what I'm saying kind of a body language, typing language that he uses. So it's very cute that way. Sometimes annoying also because he's not listening to you, but
Yes.
and giving his own logic. But then he's also typing, so it's a very cute. The whole setting is very cute. That so yeah,
Yeah. This it was lovely talking to you. I think
same.
busting a few myths. A lot of people need to hear it, right?
Yeah,
That intelligence doesn't have a look. That learning can happen in a lot of different forms. Every
exactly.
child needs to learn, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we will learn if we are taught in the right way. I think
Right,
as
right.
adults, it's our responsibility to figure out what works, right? It's not the
Exactly.
child, it's us adults who are
Yeah.
so, and even the other children, no? I mean, children are naturally inclusive.
They
I
are
think,
very inclusive. They're so inclusive. Like I remember the first school, he was all the kids had climbed up a roof.
Hmm.
Okay, and he's sitting down with me. He was no, not with me. He was in the sandpit with some
Hmm.
teacher, and I was there.
Hmm.
So now these kids want him to climb the
Yes.
roof.
Hmm.
So I can hear them. They are saying, "How will Mayan come?" And they are like all three and a half, four, less than four and less than five surely, because it's for preschool,
Hmm.
lesser than grade one. So then they are saying, we will tell Mayan Amma to help him. Something plotting they're doing there. And I'm just listening. I'm like, okay. Then they say, Mayan Amma, will you help? I was like, okay. And then teacher like, yeah, yeah. So she also climbed the like steep roof. She also climbed. These chotus also climbed. And then they said, you do this, you do that. They gave me some nice directions. But I did whatever. And he's sitting on the roof with them. And I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have thought this,
Yes.
that him sitting on a roof like that. But children, they don't, they have the natural tendency to include everybody and just reach out and
Yes.
think of solutions.
Yes.
So it's so beautiful. Even in now the school where he is, they ensure that he's participating.
Yes.
Sometimes teacher doesn't know what to do,
Hmm.
so then they sometimes teachers ask me, how do you think we should do? I say, ask his friends. They will do. They will be like, yeah, yeah, he has to do this. He will be my partner. He will do this.
Hmm.
This, I'll give the ball like this way. So it is a way that
They
naturally happens.
adapt very naturally because they're not conditioned like we are.
They are
Like
not at all conditioned. So, and I'm seeing the school, you know, blooming as an inclusive space. We have a couple of children now, and the confidence has increased. The ability to go beyond, okay, I need to create worksheets, but I'll also be ensuring that there are digital worksheets for him because he
Hmm.
types.
Yes.
um, Taking that extra step. So
And sometimes it's
those
very
things.
easy, with technology, with AI and all of that, to recreate all of this digitally or just create
Exactly.
alternative worksheets of a different level. It's not as time consuming as it used to be, say, 10
Exactly.
years ago.
Exactly.
It
And
is,
it is now becoming a norm.
yes.
That's what inclusion is. It has to become a norm where all the different the diversities within the classroom, we are able to think of them as okay. They're all okay. It's
Yes.
just fine.
As long as you're learning, as long as I can figure out the way to reach you and the
Yeah.
way to teach you, that's all.
Yeah. So it's really nice to see that. And I'm not saying there are no challenges. There are a lot of challenges there. There is a lot of uncertainties there. But
Yes.
that is there anyway. It's going to be part of
Everywhere.
it. So,
Yes. Yeah.
so but the joy of actually doing something tangible, which is beautiful, that shouldn't be missed, is what
Absolutely.
is the whole point. And everyone has a potential. It's and anyway, it's a like, be it neurodiversity, be it neurotypical, whatever, be it an impairment or not an impairment, whatever it is, um, there's always a possibility.
Yes.
The point is this, that there's always a possibility. The
Possibility.
moment we are able to see that, okay, what are the possibilities, we are on the right track.
Right track. Yes.
With the logistics, you will be able to do it.
We'll work around the logistics.
Yeah. So yeah, resources are important. Not everybody has the same resources as the others. Not everyone has the the support system that one needs to have. See, for us, I come from the background. Mine happened to me later. I
Yes.
come from an education background. I did have special education as part of my interest.
Mm.
I had worked with children from uh, with neurodiversity, and also uh, resource dry regions. So at least I had that understanding. So a little bit of derailment happened because it's a personal
The
thing.
personal
Then
thing.
we
Yeah.
just got back. But I know that there are many families where this is not the case.
True.
Uh, for them to figure out, for them to even accept, for them to get the support required is not possible. But at least once once we are able to make that little shift wherever possible, there is a lot of windows and doors open up.
True.
So yeah.
That's true. It was lovely talking to you, Sayo. And Thank you so much for doing this
Thanks for
yet
having
again.
me here.
And let's keep in touch.
Sure, sure, sure.
Good luck to Mayan, the writer, waiting to read his first book.
Oh yeah, yes, yes. He is like he told his classmates that he wants to be a travel journalist
Hmm.
and an author. So I was like, he took it so seriously.
Hmm.
Grade one, he walks in after his this quarantine and all that, and his friends ask him, and
Hmm.
he's like very serious look. And I was like, okay, he's really thinking. Before that, I never asked him this because the same level children are asking, it's a peer interaction. So then that's what he wrote, and I was like, oh,
Okay.
how did you know the word journalist? So then he told me how he learned the word journalist. Like, you know so many things. Yes, I know. I was like, okay. So yeah. Thank you. Yes, whenever his book comes.
Good
Yes.
luck for that.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.